It's a good time for me to take a break. I just had a pretty rough Uber experience a few minutes ago, and I'm going to share my experience on this channel. That's one thing that I resolved to do. I'm not trying to be negative. I'm not intentionally and deliberately trying to be someone who is just complaining and negative, but I'm going to share my experiences, and I'm not going to dress them up. I'm not going to sugarcoat them. I'm not going to water them down. I'm going to share my experiences for what they are in truth, whether it be good or bad, for better or worse, because I want you to know the reality of my day and my experiences. So I just picked up a mother and two children, and they were all disrespectful. Uh, she gets in with these two kids who are obviously pretty rambunctious, pretty hopped up, and takes a big bag of McDonald's fast food and just turns it over to them in my back seat. And as we're going down the road, I'm trying to look in the rearview mirror and trying to, stay abreast of what's going on in my back seat, because I'm not a very rich man. I don't have a lot of valuable possessions in my life, never have and probably never will. But I did buy this car. I bought it for the purpose of gig work. It's a new car. I've had it for less than 2 months, and it's nothing spectacular, but it means something to me, and I want to try to take care of it while I bought it to I knew I was going to be wearing it out with the mileage for gig work, but while I'm wearing it out with the mileage, I want to try to take care of it, and I want people to respect it. It's no Mercedes or Rolls Royce, and I understand that, but still, you can have a little bit of respect. But here they're just chowing down, and I'm thinking there's got to be food crumbs or remnants in my back seat. There's no way that it's not going to be the case. So it was pretty tense ride for me. It was about 10 and a half miles of this, and the kids were saying some things in the back seat that were disgusting, that made me think that I might end up having a much bigger mess than just food to clean up. And I will spare you the gory, gruesome details of that conversation between the children. So we get to the place where the first stop, wouldn't you know it, it's a multiple stop trip. Couldn't just be get out and be done with it. So we get to the first stop. It's a school. These two boys that she had with her, they go in, she drops them off, and then she comes out with another kid who is apparently her child also, and he gets in, and she gets on the phone with somebody as we go to the second stop, and she's talking about how sick he is, and the school is sending him home because he's throwing up and he has diarrhea and he's running a fever. Two thoughts come through my mind. First of all, my wife is not in the best of health. Here this sick kid is. He's going to give whatever he's got to me, and then I'm going to take it home to her. So that was one thing that was sort of tense and kind of had me on edge a little bit. I never said anything. I didn't smart off or anything like that. I was quiet. I was determined to get them to where they were going so they can get on up out of my vehicle. The second thing that come to my mind is, okay, what about the mess? I'm already concerned about McDonald's fries and whatever else is going on. They had a sucker. They were talking about a sucker. Somebody dropped a sucker, and the other one picked it up, and the mom starts fussing. That's his. Okay. So, well, let me say this. First of all, I understand before any gainsayers or anybody, any folks come back and try to somehow be the voice of reason in this situation. I understand that there's a risk of picking up people who are not well. I understand that, okay? So I'm just sharing with you how tense it made me. It's not like I could really scream that in any way. I'm not going to be somebody who tries to take your temperature when you get into the car. So that's just something that I have to deal with. People could be sick and have contagious illnesses and not even be aware of it, and they're going to get in and they're going to take Ubers and people are going to get sick. Yes, it's going to happen. That's a risk that we all have to come to terms with. But when you know there's sickness in your car, when you know it, it does sort of put a certain twist on things. And I'm not saying there's much that I would be willing to try to do about that. I don't know what, if I put myself in her position, she's got this kid she needs to go get, she don't have transportation. What else do you do? I mean, some people have family members that they could get involved, and I guess others don't. So I could accept the fact that this is a mother out there just doing what she has to do, and this is what she had to do to get her kid. I get it. And the other thing about the food is, I want to make this clear as well before people, come back on me. Not that anybody on this channel would do that. It's just that's the way the good Lord programmed my mind. I'm always looking forward to any objections that might come back. That's the way He wired me. That's just how I am. So somebody might raise an objection and say, well, the food in your car, what are you going to do? There's, it's not about somebody eating in my vehicle. I can deal with someone eating in my vehicle. I mean, I'm going to eat in the vehicle. If I can get out and not eat in the vehicle, I will be. But, without going into all the details, there's going to be times when I have to eat in my vehicle. But I'm going to be careful with it. And I'm not going to be too concerned if there's a passenger who is eating and drinking in my vehicle, if I can reasonably suspect that they're going to be respectful and they're not going to be careless with it, and they're not going to be flinging crumbs everywhere. Well, I didn't have that assurance with this ride, and sure enough, when we got to the final destination and I was able to get out and look in my back seat and assess the situation, sure enough, there were French fries, there were crumbs, there was a piece of a sucker that was stuck in the carpet on the floorboard of my new vehicle, and I had to remove that. I had to try to get the crumbs and stuff. Thankfully, I've got some seat covers. I'm planning on doing a video about the seat covers that I have for this new car, so I was able to just kind of take them outside the vehicle and just sort of shake them off a little bit. But I mean, what kind of person, really? It's not about eating. If you could do it and be clean and respectful with it, that's one thing. But what kind of person just throws a big bag of McDonald's food to two kids that are just throwing caution to the wind and have no regard for someone else's property? No regard whatsoever. No concern. And she kept demonstrating, the mother kept demonstrating that she had no regard, no respect, and no concern. Because at one point, with the second kid that had the diarrhea and was throwing up, he asked for a drink. He said to the mother, "Do I have a drink in my lunchbox?" She said, "Yeah, let me get that for you." And I'm thinking, now we're going to introduce drinks into all this. And here I have no reasonable suspicion that this kid is going to be responsible enough to sit and hold a drink steady. So I'm driving them to their destination just certain that he's either going to throw up or just drop this drink and it's going to spew all over my car. Thankfully, that didn't happen. Thankfully, the kid didn't throw up. And I don't want to seem like I'm unconcerned about him. That's where he was going. He was going to the doctor. I wish him well. I hope he feels better soon. And I'll be praying for him, most assuredly. So I'm not trying to be unconcerned, not trying to be ugly, not trying to be negative. But I will share my experiences, good or bad, as they are, without dressing it up for better or worse on this channel. And this was one of the worst ones that I've had in a little while. And just know that it's even more tense. The situation was more tense than what I'm explaining and describing now. I'm leaving some things out. But that is my morning so far. But I have made 57 bucks today and got a lot more gig working that I want to do today. This is supposed to be a full day for me. A lot of my days are just part-time days, but my goal today is to work a full day and see where I'm at. Got a football game to go to this evening, so I'm going to hop off of here, and I'll catch you guys later on. Have a blessed day.